of apparatus. So let's just watch intently.
Yes, this is a very difficult piece to start on. All falls are given an immediate 0.5 deduction, and the beam just 4 inches wide, very, very easy to come off. But she started very securely, all her experience showing. Bad wobble there, though.
Yes, we just hope that she can recover, and may that be the least of her troubles.
That's another one. That's really got to be at least a 0.2 deduction, 1.1 for each. So she's down to 9.8 already, we would guess.
And more important than anything, I think, there's a beautiful one-arm balance there, a little bit snatched into the landing. But the advantage that she will give to her competitors if she lets them know that she's nervous. This is what we call the psychology of the sport. She has to pretend that she's got nerves of steel. Then we see the full twist. Oh, dear me. That is a disaster for Davidova.
The very thing she didn't want to happen, that really should put her straight out of the lead after the first round and let all her rivals also make a mistake. She can't believe it. She'll have performed that landing thousands of times in practice.
Here we look onto the balance where she recovered. I wonder what's going through her mind now. She slumped down on the chair when she was finished, and she's looking pretty discontented.
The women, of course, haven't even got as much time as the men to make a comeback from any mistake they make, because they only perform on 4 pieces of apparatus. So if she were to lose 0.8 of a mark here, that would be a huge blow, and it looks like being at least that. And Davidova's mark just come up, 9.35.
And now to asymmetric bars, one of the stars of this competition, young Olga Becherova, at the moment lying in 2nd place. A real new discovery. Could she be another Olga Korbut?
This one of the ones we've really been waiting for. She's shown such poise, it doesn't look possible with such a little girl. But there, the short clear, then the giant circle. And shoot, front somersault dismount with half turn. She's done another perfect exercise from Becherova. Perfection, the wrong word, really. But we'll see whether the judges think it is or not. But superb control there in such a difficult pressure situation.
Oh, yes. She started off with a full twist on the mount. Then that's a movement famous for the Shaponikova first invented. Then you see the tension in her routine all the way through to the dismount, and she looks quite contented.
Now we've gone to beam. Marta Egavari from Hungary, starting her routine.
And the score for Olga Becherova on the asymmetric bars was 9.8, so she really puts the pressure on Davidova.
And there, Egavari comes off, as so many of these girls have done, on the beam. She's now got to get back her concentration. There you can hear over the PA the announcement that Filatova's about to go up on the asymmetric bars. She and Becherova in the same group, so there's something of a head-to-head battle there going on, just as we have between Korolyov and Makutz yesterday. Meanwhile, Egavari still concentrating on her beam.
I'm just keeping an eye on Filatova on bars. The atmosphere here is really electric.
Egavari now building up to a dismount, and just as she does it, Filatova finishes her bars. The cheers are for that, not for Egavari's routine, I'm afraid.
Well, let's hope there's a little bit of each. And now onto the floor. Our greatest interest in this championship is our own British champion, Mandy Gornall, opening there with a lovely double twister. Double twisting back somersault.
Mandy, of course, had a bad time in the first set of optional exercises. She thought at one time she failed to make this last 36 competition, but we're very pleased that she just sneaked in at number 35.
A middle tumble routine there, showing a flick-flack, a whip back, and another somersault onto one leg. Now, the slower part of the routine, where we show the small movements of virtuosity, the jumps and turns.
Filatova, by the way, scored 9.8 on the asymmetric bars, so she's hanging on right in there. Mandy, that heavy strapping on her right leg, it shows what a hard week it is for the gymnast, Monica.
Oh, indeed. And a full twisting back somersault, which is the last tumble. Handstand full pirouette. Or 1.5. I don't think she quite made the double that she was probably going for.
A much more secure exercise there from Mandy. I think she'll be happier to start on floor than the vault as she had to in the first set of optional exercises.
Yes, I think that this first tumble, in actual fact, I think this is the first tumble. No, this is the middle one. Whip back and straight back. But she did have a double back somersault. The ankle strapping suggests that she injured her foot and she's had to take the movement out.
The crowd, having built themselves up for Vicharova and Filatova, now just waiting patiently. Here we see, we've got a chance to see Filatova on the asymmetric bars.
She really has made a magnificent recovery to the sport, because a couple of years ago, on these same moves, she's a little bit slack. Underneath the bar and a half turn. Oh, gosh, that was a beautiful delta. Up to catch.
It's amazing the number of movements that have been transferred from the men's high bar routines that were considered very strong movements that the girls have now put on. Turning up there a soul circle and her full twisting back somersault from the high bar in the straight position to finish with.
The toe-on, toe-off to handstand into a giant circle, another half giant circle to Delchev catch. They're putting everything in these routines at the moment. And Kathy doing extremely well to come into this championship last minute. Full twisting, long swing to finish. That's swinging long underneath the bar, releasing and performing a full twist in one somersault.
Just considering on the original American team list, she was only in as a replacement in the team. She's really done very well to come in their top three, Monica.
Oh, extremely well. She's a very experienced gymnast.
Now, ready to go on the vault, number 159, Hinata from Japan. Yuka Hinata.
Let's hope we get a little bit of better coverage on our vault this time from our little man with the camera.
She's already vaulted once, and this is going to be her second vault, the best of the two to count. There, you can see her studying. We can't actually see the instrument, but what she's doing is she's actually printing up the number of the vault that she's going to perform so that the judges know it before she begins her routine. And it's straight on and a 360-degree turn off there for Hinata from Japan.
Now on to floor we have Chen Chung. A dramatic performer from the team. I noticed she changed the first tumble. She's out of the floor. She fell in the first round on a full in back out, which is a twisting double back, so she changed it and put too much into it and still fell, poor girl.
Yes, the last time she fell forward, rubbed her nose along the ground. This time she sits down outside the floor area.
And an excellent finish too, and not a bad start on the first tumble for Chu Cheng. She'll be bitterly disappointed with the fall because that will drop her down considerably in the final placing. Into the tumble we see up, we see her over-rotate the back somersault. The second one bring her feet underneath her, and unfortunately that's half a mark down.
And Chu Cheng came into this final part of the individual competition in 7th place, and that will ruin it. But one girl who started really well today, Olga Vicharova, on the beam. She really does start with an advantage over some of the other girls because she looks so sweet, Monica.
She does, and of course, her feet are smaller than anybody else's, so one should say that she's got more chance of staying on the beam.
Little mistake there. She over-rotated. They have to include that pirouette in their routine. And she couldn't even hide it, Monica, because she had to straighten herself up before she went on, didn't she?
She made up for it there, though, didn't she? Back somersault from a flick-flack, a very, very difficult combination. A C rating, in other words, a movement of superior difficulty.
Those simple-looking little leaps must be performed to full extension, and they're not nearly as easy as they look when you're on that beam. Vicharova, of course, the leader in the competition after the first round. Davidova having a disaster there on the beam. So Vicharova, now the favorite for the gold medal.
What a double back somersault. The first 1.5 somersaults were above the beam. That was a superb finish.
Well, the Russian crowd, any of them that were behind Davidova, switched their attention now to Vicharova.
There we see the pert little ponytailed Olga being greeted by Alashisheva, another up-and-coming Soviet gymnast.
She can hardly believe all this is happening to her, but once she's up on the apparatus, she certainly knows what she's doing. There she goes, flick-flack. 3 back summer over onto one foot, and then brings the other down.
And on beam, the score for Olga Vicharova is 9.75, an extremely good score, well-deserving score with a high amount like that. But unfortunately, on floor, Chu Cheng, who had her fall, has now dropped well back with a score of 9 only on her disastrous first beam.
Now, Maria Filatova following Vicharova onto the beam. She's in 2nd place, and she's just seen that 9.75, and she knows that that can be beaten.
And somehow, I have tremendous faith in Filatova. I personally like her as a performer, and from what I see of her as a person. And I've got a feeling that she'll put everything into this routine to better that score.
Well, no mistakes yet. Free front walkover.
Now we have, obviously, a concentration for this next difficulty, which is a flick-flack onto 2 feet, into a somersault onto 2 feet, which is most difficult, because the preparation at the beginning of that flick-flack has to be absolutely accurate to land on 4 inches again. The gymnasts have to include in every other length on the beam a movement of at least medium difficulty. They can't dance along the beam twice doing nothing in little frills. They have to include some difficulties.
She's a very short gymnast, but she does manage that extension that gives her great elegance.
Yes, she's always so beautifully extended and fast-moving. And there we have flick-flap to 2 feet, double back, tight somersault to finish, and you just can't ask for more than that as a competition against Bichirova.
Well, this is very interesting. It could make this competition even tighter. She was just 48.525 against Bichirova's 48.75 before this round began, and that really could put her 0.1 closer, and she'll be very much in contention then for the gold medal.
I'm sure there, she's even now, she's such an analytical gymnast, she's probably asking her coach, well, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? How could I have done it better? Here, the slow motion of the middle tumble in her beam, flick-flack and somersault. A little wobble there, a bit more obvious in slow motion.
This strange stage of the competition for the gymnasts, because they've been thinking very much as a team member until now, and suddenly they're all out for themselves, even against those team members that they've been encouraging and cooperating with over the first 2 days of their competition. And she scored 9.9. That's 9.9 for Filatova, which really does take her up very, very close to Bichirova.
Bichirova still in the lead. We're seeing again Filatova's dismount this time. Oh, that was superb. And I'm sure that Mamatea, Filatova's coach, will be delighted with her comeback.
Well, we've still got Davidova to go in this round, but about to go onto the asymmetric bars. It's Ma Yanghong from China, the top Chinese girl, and she's well up in the placings as well, in 4th place at the moment.
In fact, she is current world asymmetric bar champion. There we see a Hecht half-turn straddle to catch some of this work. It's artistry at its best. Let's watch it, and then I'll go through it afterwards. And that's dismount. A Hecht 1.5 somersault with twist. A fantastic finish. It's got to be original. Nobody can match a performance like that in my eyes. Let's see what the judges think.
There, that beautiful flip off her hips to the straddle over the top bar. Now she's got to wait for that mark to come through.
Kathy Johnson obviously agrees with me, and she thinks it's a good routine, so I'm sure that there are many, many gymnastics fans watching who've never seen anything quite like that before. Here, let's see that poetic finish. There's the half twist, and another twist, and the somersault into land. Magic.
Still waiting anxiously for the score.
Now we see on floor Ana Manso, one of the few Spanish gymnasts to hit the world scene in the last few years.
And up on the asymmetric bars, Ma Yen-hong's score just come up 9.9. She's pushing up towards those top 3 places too, so it's getting very tight up there.
This little girl is extremely powerful on the tumbles. Front somersault, Arab spring flick, double twisting back somersault and opening tumble. One of the team that our girls just managed to pit in the team championship. Anna has just, at the moment, in the lead of Mandy Gorno, our British girl, so we'll see if Mandy can perhaps recoup a few marks and overtake the Spanish Anna. Quite a cheeky little movement there, handspring to sit, and now we're seeing the little acrobatic elements leading up to the tumble.
Ana Manso from Spain on the floor. Again, not in contention, but vital for these girls and for their countries that they improve their rankings, because it tends to create interest in the sport in that country if one girl moves up the world rankings, and from that they get more people into the sport and it can improve the standard overall.
And to participate in a championship like this is so motivating.
There on the asymmetric bars, Martina Polkrova from Czechoslovakia. Shoot front somersault to finish. Polkrova 14th when she came into this competition. Monica, the Czechs really came in with an elegant group of girl gymnasts on this occasion, didn't they?
Oh, yes, and they've got a fantastic history. With somebody like Vera Cieslawska in their history, we've got to expect great things from the Czechoslovakians, and they're very high. There we see a tumble drop, which is a somersault from the top bar to the bottom bar, and a half twist into the upstart.
And out of picture, waiting very anxiously, Davidova coming onto the floor. We just hope that our Russian director, and I'm sure he will, comes with her and we move across. But there's Polkrova, still waiting anxiously for hers, because it's one of those moments where you think you've performed your routine well, but worry that the judges might have seen something that you didn't think you even did. But no, her scores come up 9.65. 9.65 for Polkrova. She'll be pleased with that, I think.
Not a particularly original routine, but very, very well performed with the required somersault in it.
Here's Elena Davidova. Now she's really got to do the best ever floor routine. She's capable of a 10, and if she did get a 10, that would put her back up above Filatova.
She hit the one she missed in warm-up, and so she's really going to allow this to turn her on and give her everything for this performance. A little bit of Eastern promise here.
Beautifully landed double twist to finish the tumbling parts. Take that, she says. I'm not finished yet. Now that's the routine that she scored a perfect 10 on in one of her routines during the Olympics. Can she do it again? If she can, she's right back in contention.
Personally, I don't think she can. She missed out the most difficult tumble in her first run, her Arabian 1 3/4, and she altered the whole routine around. That, in actual fact, was a changed routine from what we saw in the first round. So I think she'll be hoping too high for a very, very high mark, because we know it isn't as good as she can do.
Well, let me just confirm that at the halfway stage in the women's all-round competition, the position is this. Olga Bishirova leads on 58.5. Maria Filatova is second on 58.425. Yelena Davidova, the Olympic champion, third, 58.275.
She's got a delightful floor exercise. If she performs it perfectly, she's well capable of scoring the perfect mark.
In very little movement in the opening series of her routine here, she portrays a tremendous amount of feeling for somebody so small. Now watch this first tumble run. Just watch it. Full twisting back full twisting double back somersault. Sorry, I'm so excited.
Now the second tumbling run. 1.5 somersault there, and then a full twist on the end. This Monica, a very good example of selecting music that really sort of works well with her cheeky character and her build.
And a gimmick that the Soviet gymnasts do. It works well to get the audience clapping and motivates the audience to clap with them right up to the end. Here, double back somersault to finish, and you listen to this crowd.
Well, now she's the firm favourite. That's 3 of the 4 pieces completed, and she must stay in the lead after that exercise. We'll have to wait and see, but she's still got the beam to come, and that's the difficult one.
Only 15 years old and performing in a stadium with routines of this caliber is just something phenomenal. Not just on 1 piece of apparatus, on 4 pieces of apparatus. Double back somersault, full twisting, double back somersault. At what age did she start the sport? At what age did she start to conceive all of these incredible movements?
And in my excitement, I've got it wrong. She's still got the vault to come. She's done her beam, so she's got that falling piece over with. But now, anxiously awaiting, at this level, that odd 0.1, all important. There it is. She's got another 9.9.
A brilliant score and a brilliant performance.
That was Marta Echevarri of Hungary on the vault. That her second vault.
Not very well executed. Starting to bend the legs far too early before the handstand phase, getting far too much rotation and having to roll out of it. Now, onto floor, we have Maria Filatova, the captain of the Russian team.
But on this occasion, performing very much for herself. Second place.
The contrast from the really dynamic tumble into this next phase. Just watch the expression on her face, some of the shapes. We're looking for softness around the shoulder line, work on the toes, not on snap feet, fully extended knees. Here we see flick-flap, full twisting somersault, flick-flap, flick-flap, full twisting somersault.
The same middle routine as Bicharova's.
I see lots of similarities. Bicharova had that little fly spring persist. But of course, we forget that Filatova is a woman. She's now 20, and she can put that different element, a little bit more sophisticated. Was a superb double back pike somersault finish.
Amazing routine there from Filatova, and incredible how these Russian girls learn to cope with the pressure, because standing there waiting to go on, she saw Vicharova's 9.9 come up and must have known that she, whatever she did...
Oh, and Olga Korbet, look.
Rotation, first person we're going to see, Rodica Dunca from Romania on the floor. Another very leggy girl, but lands a double pikeback somersault there beautifully at the start of her routine.
Rodica, one of the most stylish performers in the present Romanian team, shows her experience to cope with this situation well. The better extension in her knees and ankles shows on this floor routine.
Now her final tumbling routine. Was that 3 twists she put in there, Monica? I don't think it can have been, but it looked very fast.
Perhaps if we see it on slow motion, I think it was only a double twist. I just saw the last part. I was peeping at Steffi Kraker preparing for bars, you see. In girls' gymnastics, the ability to split the legs, to straddle, to stay on the hands, to walk, to turn, to show mobility in the shoulders and the hips is an absolute essential factor. Now we go over to Chu Cheng on the asymmetric bars. Half turn to upstart, short clear to handstand, stolder to handstand, and a repeat stolder. There's some stuff going in. Straddle over the top bar. What an amazing routine.
Just the sort of extension you were talking about, Monica, the ability to split wide enough to go over a high bar. Amazing.
And to put a full twist on that dismount. A super routine. I thought rather a lot of work on the top bar, which may, in actual fact, give her a deduction and make her come out a little lower than one might expect.
But here's the lady of the moment, Olga Vicharova, the leader of the competition, and she's second to go on the vault. Just waiting for the clearance of the previous competitor, number 37, Andrea Szabo of Hungary, and she scored 9.4. But Olga Vicharova now thinking this is the greatest moment of her life. The vault, such a short event, Monica. 5 seconds between a World Championship or a disaster. She's, of course, got 2 chances.
The score for Rodica Dunca on the floor was 9.85. And now we prepare for little Olga.
She's a very small gymnast. Really got to attack this vault, and here she goes. Landed it beautifully. Handspring, front somersault with half turn. So that she ends up facing backwards. Here we get a chance to see it.
Parted legs on takeoff, and the judges can't see this from the side. And there we see a very, very early twist.
But she scored 9.9, keeping up the pressure. I can see Filatova just off the podium looking just as anxiously at that mark. She's been nothing if not consistent. Pressure doesn't seem to mean a thing to her, Monica.
She is so cool. So absolutely cool. We don't know. She may have come into this championship so confident from training, knowing that she's the best. She's certainly proving it so far.
Looks as if she's posted up the same vault. It's certainly one with a full 10 tariff that she's going for. And she's got that 9.9. Can she better it?
That was an excellent vault. An excellent vault. It really, when it's shown in slow motion, does not do justice to that little elf. She's so tiny that when she runs down, you think she's going under, and then whoop, above the horse she goes.
And the crowd already thinking that she is new, and she's got a perfect 10. A 10 for Bicharova. She now can't be beaten. She's the new women's world champion.
That must be terrible for the others. Oh, gosh, knowing that that has gone. But that was superb, absolutely beautiful.
But what a moment for her. She knew she had Filatova going after her. She's got all the pressure on her. She answers it perfectly, and she now knows that all the other competitors have got to settle for the silver medal or less.
And on asymmetric bars, we've just seen Dagmar Bray Kempa make rather a nasty mistake, but she's continuing, and she's picking up quite a fluent routine. Oh dear, she's broken off again. She lost the fluency.
We're not really very interested, I was going to say, Monica, because over there Filatova has just vaulted. Our director, even a Russian director, cut away from her. At this stage of the competition, it does seem a strange thing to do, but there we are. Filatova, her first vault over. Perhaps he'll give it to us in slow motion. I'm afraid I really can't raise much enthusiasm for Branna Kemper at this stage. There is Filatova. And a poor vault, 9.65. That's the last thing she needed.
Well, I think, quite honestly, if that had happened to me, if somebody had just proved they were world champion just before my vault, I think all the adrenaline that I ever had would have just drained from me. And I missed the vault because I was watching the bar.
But now, she's got to really pull back her form here, because Davidova is by no means so far behind her that she couldn't overtake, and 9.65 could put her back from second into third place. That looked a much better vault from Filatova. But on the floor, to that we have number 81, Ma Yanhong. Now she's up in fourth place, so this one very important to the medals as well. Filatova's score just come up, 9.75.
We just see how powerful Ma Yanhong is on the floor. A very, very splendid gymnast. She doesn't look as though she has the power for big tumbles, and she hasn't. 1.5 twisting somersaults into a roll. She just doesn't, she looks too frail to leap off the floor.
Yes, if there's one criticism of the Chinese gymnasts, I think I go with you, Monica. Girls, this is, because the men are extremely powerful, but they don't seem quite as strong as the Eastern Europeans.
Beautiful double twist vault and a lovely full twisting dive roll. She is so long and thin that her body lends itself much more to twisting than her power does to somersaulting. So obviously she's wise to portray in her floor routine what she is good at. And this is really what gymnastics is all about. Here we see Arab spring, the flick-flap, up into the twist, 1.5, overbalanced in the first run. She had to roll out marks that she will lose, actually.
And that will probably ease Davidova's thoughts. She knows that she can probably get rid of Ma Yan-hong as a contender. But this Egavari of Hungary on the asymmetric bars.
Hungarians, of course, won a bronze medal in the men's section in the Olympics, and the women aren't quite as strong, are they, as a team? But they've looked pretty good in total. It's nice to see them performing well today.
Yes, they've got a team, a very big team for girls' gymnastics, but I think the general trend at these championships has been for older girls, and generally for girls who are more like women, shall we say, than we've perhaps seen over the last couple of years.
Yes, we see Mandy Gornall.
Now, she's definitely a woman.
Now. Seeing a repeat performance of some of Mandy's work on the beam.
And Ma Yan-hong's floor routine scored her 9.75. Very respectable, but probably not good enough right up at the top. There's a nice shot of Mandy again.
Mandy just finished her beam routine, and as you saw, she was sitting waiting for the score to come up. It still hasn't shown. Polkrova here, ready for her floor routine, and we are waiting for Mandy Gornall's beam score to show.
Polkrova falling on her first tumble.
First time seen in this championship, an Arabian double somersault. An extremely difficult move for a woman to do. I think we've only had one man compete it before, but no man performed it in the championship so far. And then a double back somersault.
Going there for that original move, risking everything. Failed to land it. And everything goes back 0.5 of a point. It's a dreadfully tough business.
From power to elegance. Polkrova I watched in the earlier rounds of the competition, and she really is what I call a classical gymnast. She puts a tremendous amount of depth of feeling into all of her movements. And being tall, she has a very, very elegant line.
Martina Polkrova from Czechoslovakia. Now onto the asymmetric bars. It's Ana Manso from Spain. Ana Manso in 33rd place when she started this afternoon's competition. Good experience for Spain to be there. Here on the asymmetrics, there the giant circle. Again started on the men's piece of apparatus. Oh dear.
Oh, what a shame. A long swing into a double back away, which is an extremely difficult dismount, having built it from two giant circles. But nevertheless, a very, very courageous performance from Anna. We've just seen Mandy Gornall's score come up, a very, very good score for Mandy on beam, 9.25. And we'll soon compare how Mandy has been doing against her rival from Spain, Anna. Mandy's total, she's now finished her competition, 72.675.
Now this Annette Lindner from East Germany on the beam. Nice extension into that balanced position. She's attacking it very confidently.
I'm sure that many viewers will agree that in action she does have a look of Mandy Gnauk, who is in fact her teammate.
Maxi Gnauk, yes. Maxi, of course, out of the competition because of that injury that she received in the team event. Very sadly, but she fought on, and she does appear in 3 of the individual medal finals, so we will get another chance to see her.
Sorry, did I say Mandy? Maxie. A very nice combination on beam. A half turn there into a back walkover and immediate back handspring. Some of the movements that look the most simple on beam, that take place slowly, where ultimate control is having to be exercised, are the most difficult. She now prepares for her dismount. The routine must last about 1 minute 30 seconds. Double back somersault to finish. Good routine.
Yes, in close-up, she really doesn't look very much like Maxie at all, but certainly, as she takes up some of the positions on the beam, very much like her in build. These Germans, a very happy team. Their coach was a former champion of former Olympic performer, was she not?
She has performed in many European championships. I spent 3 months in Leipzig, East Germany, training at one time and met Hannah there. So she can obviously pass down her experience to her team members. But they're a very dedicated crowd. And that's a score on beam, 9.75. An extremely good score, too.
But a very original exercise and well deserved.
You can see the aerial view of this fantastic stadium as we look down. And there we see the lonely figure of Elena Davidova preparing for her last exercise.
Yes, Davidova, if there's one person I'd have bet upon really performing up to her top potential in these championships, she's a very hard competitor, it would have been her. But then on her very first piece, she really made a complete mess of it. And now she knows with that final score from Olga Vicharova that there is absolutely no way that she can take the world title as well as the Olympic title. Having said that, she's of course very anxious to get a medal of some sort and keep that Russian domination of the top 3.
Those steely eyes of concentration now as she cuts to handstand, giant circle, in better form, and a Jaeger somersault inwards, forward seat circle. She's working well, keeping the routine going. Short clear to handstand. Oh, lovely. And a long swing with a full twist there. Now, a shoot somersault in a tight position over the bottom bar. She couldn't have done better.
That's the mark of a great gymnast. There she is in what is for her a disappointing position. Anyone else would love to be there, but she was only going for gold, and yet still pulled herself together, did her last 3 routines really well, and has made sure of the bronze medal.
As well as loyalty to one's country and teamwork, there's a great thing in gymnastics as a sport, and that's called self-satisfaction. And unfortunately, Elena Davidova won't be filled with that in total, but she will be as the result of this bar exercise that we're just seeing in slow motion.
Alice Shisheva there, one of the Russian gymnasts who didn't make the team. And she scored 9.85 for Davidova. So that makes sure that the Russians finish 1, 2, 3.
With the Televeris ready, and now we have on beam Romy Kessler from Switzerland, Televeris on floor. mounting the podium to start her bar routine. Here she goes, reverse grasp, drop down to window and to immediate redoffler to catch. A very nice opening routine.
Up onto the top bar, hip circles it. I don't think she meant to touch her feet on there, Monica.
Oh, a very, very nice routine. She had a repeat from the endo on the bottom bar into the endo onto the top bar through to straddle. Although, to me, it looked a little short. What she did was nice, but it could be that she missed out a movement. Here we see the mount again. Jump to reverse hand grasp, so the fingers are behind the bar. High hip lift.
Her score just come up for the asymmetric bars. She scored 9.6. We do know now, I think nobody can overhaul the fourth one either. The first three places definitely go to the Russians. Vitarova, the gold medal, 78.4. Filatova, 78.075. Davidova, 77.975. And Ma Yahong from China in fourth place, 77.625 at the moment, but she could possibly be caught. That's Ludmila Teresheva, the head judge on the floor. They've only given 8.45 to Yvonne Haug, but Teresheva, of course, one of the great champions herself.
And what better piece for her to judge on? Absolute classical performer herself. She was able to put in all of the feelings that she is expecting her gymnasts on the floor to portray.
That's Steffi Kraker from East Germany, the second top East German, but in this competition, certainly the top East German, because Maxi Knauk out through that injury in the team competition. A great deal. Depending on her, she'll be determined to keep up the pride of East Germany. They did tremendously well in that team competition after Maxi being injured. At one stage, they were out of the top three, but forced their way back in to take the bronze medal.
Oh, indeed, it was a marvellous team performance. Steffi came back onto asymmetric bars, which of course is her forte because she is Olympic bronze medalist on this piece. Overall, in the Olympic Games, she was ranked number 5 gymnast. So see if she can measure up to this in the World Championships, perhaps with a good performance, who knows. But one of the, as we discussed earlier, one of the women present. A very, very mature performer.
Now we move to floor. Yayoi Kano of Japan, halfway through a floor exercise.
Double twist to finish there from Kano, not too strong again on the tumbles, but we get very, very complacent about what we're seeing. We've seen full twisting double back somersaults and double back somersaults at the beginning and the end of routines. We mustn't be afraid to praise those people like the Japanese who are coming in the middle of the field and performing very, very well. Nevertheless, some very sound gymnastics. We did have a double back there to land at the beginning of the exercise.
Now Steffi Kraker on the parallel bars, a long delay there. This unusual move she does, standing on there, then the circle and the back somersault to regain, hip circle around the low bar. She really is a lovely worker on the asymmetrics, isn't she?
Again, that was an innovation of Olga Korbett's, as we saw. And for a tall girl, she works the bar so well, so very, very well. A lovely full twisting dismount off the high bar.
And let's rouse the crowd again. Magnificent piece of work by Steffi Kraker. Yano Kanoi scored 9.5 on the floor. That won't change her position. But Kraker really lifted that. Beautiful work here, Monica.
Now over to floor, we have another woman in the competition, Kathy Johnson, the oldest member of the American team, as we said earlier, who came in at rather a late stage. A very, very dramatic performer on floor. You can tell by her facial expressions that she literally lives every movement that she performs.
A really haughty look before she sets off. How long do you think it took her to practice that one?
Probably just as long as many of the other skills. Aimed for a triple twist, didn't quite make it.
Double pike back somersault there. That's a very complex two tumbling runs she's gone for so far. Triple twist, which she didn't quite get. Double pike, which she landed perfectly.
Although this is very elegant, many of the routines we've seen earlier have been very much more fast-moving than this, and therefore they're getting in more skills to impress the judges with their versatility. Tumble run, 1.5 twists to walk out. Well, actually, it was a full twisting somersault just to walk out.
And the cheer just as she began that last tumbling run was for Steffi Kraker's mark, which had come up on the asymmetric bars, 9.8.
So from Russia, and the bronze to the Olympic champion, again from Russia, Yelena Davidova, 77.975. So it's a 1, 2, and 3.